Hi, Assalamualaikum, a very good day to all.
So, as for today Bio 460 assessment, I'm gonna share regarding the topic about virus and bacteria.
Without any further ado, let us have some debates.
For today, we're gonna focus about the characteristic, differences, and also the similarities between virus and bacteria. What is bacteria? First of all, bacteria are prokaryotic unicellular organisms that containing DNA and ribosomes. Second, bacteria have all the characteristics of living things, and also bacteria have the greatest percentage of the biomass on Earth. As you can see, this is the basic structure of bacteria, which is it consists of cell wall, cell membrane, ribosome, flagellum, and of course the pili. These are the three distinct shapes for bacteria, which is the first one is spherical or known as cocci, the second one is rod shaped or known as bacilli, and the third one is spiral or also known as spirilla. Bacteria have a variety of important uses, such as it helps us in making such an interesting food, for example, buttermilk, yogurt, and cheese. Other than that, it also helps in decompose organic matter. Next, it also helps in nitrogen fixation, as we know that it is chemically changed nitrogen gas into ammonia so plants can make it into amino acids. Then, it also helps in human health, which is bacteria in gut help us to digest food and make vitamins. Last but not least, bacteria helped in biotechnology, which is bacteria was used to make antibiotics, insulin, vitamins, and other drugs. Besides bringing good toward human, bacteria can cause a variety of diseases, such as food poisoning, tuberculosis, or known as TB, cough, cholera, bacterial meningitis, ulcers, and strep throat. Next, we're gonna talk about virus. Viruses are biological entities that containing either DNA or RNA that require another cell to survive. Viruses have some but not all of the characteristics of life. All viruses have same basic structure, which is it consists of capsid, the protein coat, and also the nucleic acid core that contain DNA or RNA. These are the two examples of virus, which is the first one is bacteriophage, is the virus that infect the bacteria, and the second one it shares the flu or known as influenza and HIV. How do virus works? In order to replicate and make copies of itself, virus need a host cell. Any living cell can become a host cell, such as human, animal, and plants. Without a host cell, virus cannot function, or we can call it as harmless virus. Next, we're going to talk about the simple steps on how the virus works. The first one is attach the capsid of the virus binds to receptor proteins on the surface of a host cell, tricking the host cell into thinking it's not a foreign invader. Next, the inject step. The virus then injects the genetic material, DNA or RNA, into the host cell. Next, it will assemble. The viral genes are expressed, turning the host cell into a virus-making factory. Last but not least, it will repeat. The host cell eventually bursts, releasing the hundreds of newly formed viruses to infect. Virus can cause a variety of diseases, such as common cold, polio, hepatitis A, B and C, influenza, herpes, chickenpox, and AIDS. These are the differences between bacteria and virus. The first one is bacteria has cell wall that made up of peptidoglycan or lipopolysaccharides, while virus has no cell wall but protein coat instead. Bacteria has ribosomes while virus has no ribosomes. Bacteria is a unicellular while virus has no cell. Apart from that, bacteria is living organisms while virus is between living and non-living things. Next, bacteria, the DNA and RNA floating freely in cytoplasm, but for virus, the DNA or RNA enclosed inside a coat of protein. Next, bacteria has localized infection while virus has systematic infection. Last but not least, bacteria was able to reproduce by itself while virus need a living cell to reproduce. However, the bacteria and virus still have some similarities, such as both can cause disease, spreads by cough, sneezing and others, does not have nuclei, virulence present in both, and also both are capable of killing humans. There is something that is very relatable on our topic today, which is the COVID-19. Coronavirus disease COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. The best way to prevent and slow down transmission is to be well informed about the COVID-19 virus, the disease it causes, and how it spreads. The COVID-19 virus spreads primarily through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose when an infected person coughs or sneezes. So it is important for us to practice the respiratory etiquette. But how about the flu virus? Is there any differences or similarities between COVID-19 and the flu virus? The similarities between COVID-19 and flu virus. Firstly, COVID-19 and influenza virus have a similar disease presentation. That is, they both cause respiratory disease, which presents as a wide range of illness from asymptomatic or mild through to severe disease and death. Secondly, both viruses are transmitted by contact, droplets, and fomites. As a result, the same public health measures such as hand hygiene and good respiratory etiquette, which is coughing into your elbow or into a tissue and immediately disposing of the tissue, are important actions all can take to prevent the infection. The difference between COVID-19 and flu virus. The speed of transmission is an important point of difference between the two viruses. Influenza has a shorter median incubation period, which is the time from infection to appearance of symptoms, and a shorter serial interval, or known as the time between successive cases, than COVID-19 virus. The serial interval for COVID-19 virus is estimated to be 5 to 6 days, while for influenza virus, the serial interval is 3 days only. This means that influenza can spread faster than COVID-19. Next, while the range of symptoms for the two viruses is similar, the fraction with severe disease appears to be different. For a COVID-19, data to date suggests that 80% of infections are mild or asymptomatic, 50% are severe infection requiring oxygen, and 5% are critical infections requiring ventilations. These fractions of severe and critical infection would be higher than what is observed for influenza infection. Those most at risk for severe influenza infection are children, pregnant women, elderly, those with underlying chronic medical conditions, and those who are immunosuppressed. For COVID-19, our current understanding is that older age and underlying conditions increase the risk for severe infection. The medical interventions that are available for COVID-19 and influenza virus. There are a number of therapeutics currently in clinical trials in China and more than 20 vaccines in development for COVID-19. There are currently no licensed vaccines or therapeutics for COVID-19. In contrast, antivirals and vaccines available for influenza. While the influenza vaccine is not effective against COVID-19 virus, it is highly recommended to get vaccinated each year to prevent influenza infection.
With that, I, FASHRUL, IDZRY, AIEZIQ, NAZRI, I rest my case. Thank you.